What if Jeffrey Epstein was black? Would his story have ended the same way? Would he have been shielded by the powerful, protected by the privilege of being white? Or would justice have come swiftly and mercilessly? Today, we step into that alternate reality, not to defend Epstein, but to confront a question about race, power, and how America decides who gets away with what based on those facts. Jeffrey Epstein's power didn't just come from his money alone, it came from access. Presidents, princes, billionaires, scientists, they all shook his hand, attended his parties, and boarded his private jet. But let's be honest, could a black man, even with billions, have moved in those same circles with ease? Black wealth has always been treated with suspicion in elite white spaces. Historically, no matter how much money a black man has, he is rarely granted the same unspoken trust or invisibility that protected Epstein for decades. When the media talked about Epstein, they used soft words: financier, philanthropist, eccentric. Even after his conviction, headlines often painted him as a flawed genius rather than simply calling him what he was, a predator. If Epstein were black, do you think they would have ever used words like philanthropist? Or would they have plastered his mugshot everywhere, labeling him a monster or thug without a trial, but just because of the color of his skin? In America, race shapes not just who gets punished, but how stories get told. In 2008, Epstein struck one of the most lenient sweetheart plea deals in U.S. history. 13 months in a private wing of a county jail, with work release 6 days a week? That's not justice. That's a vacation, some quiet time, a reset. Nothing intended to change the spirit or the behavior of the man. Ask yourself, would a black man accused of the same crimes against young white girls ever receive that mercy? History says no. The justice system has destroyed black men for far less. Epstein's victims were mostly young white women, many from working class backgrounds. And yet, even with white victims, the system delayed justice for years because of who Epstein was. Now flip the race and everything changes. If a black man had been accused of harming young white girls, the outrage would have been immediate, explosive, and deadly. America has lynched black men for less, often without trial. That's the ugly truth, a harsh reality. Epstein wasn't just a lone predator, he was a gatekeeper for powerful men. That's why they protected him. But here's the question, would these same billionaires and politicians have risked being seen with a black man? Would they have trusted him to be their secret keeper? Of course not. Race isn't just about oppression, it shapes who gets invited to the room where secrets are traded. Epstein's crimes expose something deeper in America. Power protects power, but power also protects whiteness. Wealthy white men have always been given the benefit of doubt, second chances, and quiet settlements. Black men, no matter how rich, don't get those luxuries. So, what if Jeffrey Epstein was black? Maybe he wouldn't have lived long enough to face trial. Maybe he never would have gained the power to exploit so many. And maybe, just maybe, his name would be a cautionary tale of black crime rather than a global symbol of elite corruption. But this isn't just about Epstein. It's about the system that decides whose sins are unforgivable and whose are negotiable or not even sins at all. And until we confront that truth, justice will never truly be blind. This is Unshakable Roots, and we don't flinch from the truth. If you believe history and the present deserves this level of honesty, subscribe, share, and let's keep asking the hard questions. What if?